Welcome to the course Spring Boot. This is lecture 9, customization and configuration. So far in this course we have built successfully a RESTful application which was built to maintain the state database, and we were able to successfully make put, get, post and delete request and give a response on the basis of this data set that we have defined in our service class. So this is the static data set that we are using. In this lecture we will be looking at how we can configure and customize our Spring Boot application not to use the by default configuration provided by the Spring Boot. So let's begin with this lecture. And to configure your application, you have the source main resources folder. In this resource folder you will create a new file and just name it application.properties. So this is just a plain file that you are defining in your main resource folder, and once you create this file, this is the file which Spring Boot automatically picks up the configuration from, and you can define the customized configuration, whatever configuration you want to use, and not go for the default one in this case. So to know what all configuration options you have, there is a documentation in spring.io website. You have to just search for the application properties, and these are the all properties that you can set and customize according to your need. So for example, let's just do the server.port. We were having a server port 8080 where our application was running. I just want to change this port to some other port just to demonstrate that how this configuration will work. So let's give this server port 8081 and see if it works. Now let's run your application and go to your server and make a post request on 8080. Clearly it is not working. Your Spring application has started on port 8081. This is the message. Again, just test it. This is not working because our project is running on port 8081. Let's make a post call, a get request on 8081, and see this response has came. So this is our configuration. Likewise, you can do the all kind of configuration, and you can check this configuration list in this website. So this is it. Now let's move to the next part where we want to use the database instead of this hard-coded data set that we are using. So to do this, we need to use the JPA. And to use the JPA, it's easier to start a new project in here, because I just want to show the other way you can create a Spring Boot project. Basically what we need is we need a dependency for the JPA and the database dependencies that we will be using to create a database for our states list. So let's begin with another way to create a Spring project, and let's include the JPA and DB configuration in it, and then we can copy this code to our new project to just include this whole project in a new project with a configuration for JPA and database. So this is the another way of creating a project. You just go to your package explorer, you can right click in here and select new Spring Starter project, or you can go to the file menu and select new Spring Starter project. You have to give the name of the project. Let's give it state REST API data and give the group name as com.spring, and again the artifact ID, let's give it again state REST API data, and the description, it's gonna be a state REST API with data for a Spring Boot, and again the package is com.spring. Click next, and here you have to select multiple things. The first thing is, of course, we want a web project, because that's what we did before as well. We want a web component to be included in a project. The other thing is a SQL. So here you can see the JPA which we need for our data connectivity, and we don't want to build our project on the basis of on-fly data, so we need some database. So here you see Apache Derby, which comes as a default configuration. It provides a local copy for the development server. This is really nice because you have a database ready for your dev environment, though for production you might want to do different, but just select Apache Derby for now. So we have selected JPA, Apache Derby and web component, and we click on finish. So this is our project, which is Maven is gonna run and build for us. And when you go to the pom.xml for this file, let's close these files for easy lookup. And so this is our new project, which is state REST API data, and here we have the pom.xml for this project, and you can see that we have a Spring Boot starter web component, as we had in our previous project as well, Spring starter web component. But there are some other dependencies also, like starter data JPA, and we have downloaded the dependency for Apache.derby. So this will provide us Apache Derby database for our project. So this is another way of creating a new project. Now what we want is, we have already worked on our state API, so we want to include that project in our this new project which we built right now. And here you can see that this is a Spring Boot application, and this is our main class, as similar to this class that we have state API. This is again doing the same thing. So let's close this, and what we want is, this is the reason why I have built this in as a separate component, like as a separate package for all the states. So what I want is, I'm gonna copy this package which includes all these three classes that we have built in so far in our course, and I wanna paste that package in my source/main folder. So I'm gonna paste my package in here, and you can see we have all the code that we have built so far in our course has been included in this project, and along with that we do have dependencies of JPA and Apache Derby included in our new project. So let's test this, whether our work is working fine in our new project or not. So we'll go to this class and just run as a Java application, and it's gonna take a little while. It maps the hierarchy for the project, and here you can see that Spring is starting, and yes, our application has been started on port 8080. So let's test this. We have not included any database right now. This is the same project that we have built. We just included this project in a new project where we do have a dependencies which we're gonna use for our database. So there is nothing new, but just let's test this, whether our project is working fine or not. So on port 8080, if you hit states URL with a GET request, we should get back the name of all the states. So this is the list of states that we are getting from our service class, state service class, which is a part of our new project, which is state REST API data now. So this is another way of creating a Spring project that we can do always. and from next lecture we'll be building our project on this new project, which is state REST API data, because we do have our dependencies for JPA and Apache Derby, which we'll be using to create a local DB instead of pulling this data from the array list. So see you guys.